My name is Mia. I'm 24, and I live in a small apartment above a bakery in a sleepy coastal town. The smell of fresh bread wakes me every morning, and from my window, I can see the ocean stretching out, gray and restless. I work from home as a freelance graphic designer, crafting logos and website banners for clients I've never met in person. My life is quiet, predictable, and mostly spent behind a screen. I've always been shy, the kind of person who feels safer in the glow of a laptop than in a crowded room. That's probably why I fell in love online. It started a year ago on a forum for graphic designers. I joined to share my work and get feedback, hoping to improve my skills. The forum was a lively place, full of people posting tips, critiques, and memes about client revisions. I mostly lurked, too nervous to post much myself. Then one day, I shared a logo I designed for a local cafe, a simple wave curling into a coffee cup. The comments were kind, but one stood out. "Wow, this is clean and clever," wrote someone with the username SkyVibe92. "The wave feels alive. You've got serious talent. Ever thought of doing animation?" I blushed at my screen. Animation was something I'd always wanted to try but never had the courage. I clicked on SkyVibe92's profile. His posts were thoughtful, often funny, and his portfolio was full of vibrant digital art, cityscapes glowing under neon skies, characters with expressive eyes. His name was Ethan, and his bio said he was 26, living in Chicago, and obsessed with telling stories through art. I typed a reply. "Thanks. I've thought about animation, but it's intimidating. Your work is amazing, by the way." I hit send before I could overthink it. He responded within minutes. "Intimidating? Nah, you've got this. I'd love to see what you do with motion. Maybe we could brainstorm sometime?" Brainstorm. With a stranger. My heart raced, but I said yes. That's how it began. We moved from forum comments to private messages, then to Discord. Ethan was easy to talk to. He'd send me links to animation tutorials, peppered with goofy emojis. "You have to try this one," Mia smiling face with sunglasses, he'd write. I'd share my sketches, and he'd give feedback that was kind but honest. Soon, we were talking every day, not just about art, but about everything. He told me about growing up in Chicago, how he'd sketch on the L train to pass the time. I told him about my town, the way the ocean looked at sunrise, and how I'd always dreamed of traveling but never left home. One night, he sent me a voice message. His voice was warm, with a slight Midwestern drawl that made me smile. "Mia, I was thinking," he said. "Your art feels like your town, calm but deep, like there's a whole world under the surface. I'd love to see it someday." I played that message 3 times, my cheeks warm. "I'd like that," I replied, my voice shaky in my own recording. "Maybe you could show me Chicago, too." Our chats became video calls. The first time I saw Ethan's face, I forgot how to breathe. He had messy black hair, a crooked smile, and glasses that slipped down his nose. He waved at the camera, laughing. "You're even prettier than I imagined," he said. I laughed, embarrassed. "You're not so bad yourself." We'd talk for hours, our laptops propped on desks cluttered with sketchpads and coffee mugs. He'd draw while we talked, showing me characters he was working on, a girl with wings, a boy with a skateboard. I'd show him my designs, and he'd cheer like I'd won an award. "Mia, you're gonna be huge," he'd say. I'm just waiting to say I knew you when. I fell hard. I'd never felt so seen, so understood. Ethan didn't care that I was shy or that I lived in a nowhere town. He saw me, the real me, not just the quiet girl who faded into the background. I started dreaming of a future with him. Maybe I'd move to Chicago. Maybe we'd start a design studio together. It felt possible, like a story I could write myself. 3 months into our chats, he said it. We were on a late-night call, both of us half asleep, our screens casting soft light on our faces. Mia, he said, his voice low. I think I'm in love with you. My heart stopped. I stared at his pixelated face, his eyes soft and serious. I love you too, I whispered. It was the truest thing I'd ever said. From then on, we were a couple, even if we'd never met in person. We'd send each other virtual gifts, digital drawings, playlists, even a goofy animated heart he made that pulsed with color. He called me his ocean girl, and I called him my city boy. We planned to meet in the spring. He'd come to my town, and we'd walk along the beach, hand in hand. I counted down the days, my heart full. But then things started to change. It was subtle at first. Ethan's messages got shorter, his replies slower. He'd say he was swamped with a new project, some big client he couldn't talk about. Our video calls dropped to once a week, then every other week. When we did talk, he seemed distracted, his eyes darting off screen. Sorry, Mia, he'd say. Work's crazy. You know how it is. I did know. Freelancing could be brutal. I told myself he was just busy, that it didn't mean anything. But doubt crept in, cold and heavy. I'd lie awake, staring at my phone, waiting for a message that didn't come. One night, he called unexpectedly. His voice was tense. Mia, I need to tell you something. I'm in a bit of trouble. My stomach dropped. What kind of trouble? It's complicated, he said. I took on this client, and they paid up front, but I messed up. I spent the money before finishing the work, and now they're threatening to sue. I need to pay them back, like yesterday. I didn't know what to say. How much do you need? He hesitated. 5,000. I know it's a lot. I hate asking, but I don't know what else to do. $5,000. It was nearly all my savings, money I'd been setting aside for a new laptop and maybe, someday, that trip to Chicago. But Ethan sounded desperate, and I loved him. I can help, I said. I'll send it tomorrow. Mia, you're incredible, he said, relief flooding his voice. I'll pay you back, I swear. I love you. I transferred the money the next morning, my hands shaking as I clicked send. It felt like a leap of faith, a way to prove our love was real. He thanked me over and over, promising to make it right. For a few days, things felt normal again. He called more, sent sweet messages, even mailed me a handwritten letter with a tiny sketch of us on the beach. I framed it and hung it above my desk. But the calls tapered off again. Then, a month later, he messaged me late at night. Mia, I'm so sorry, he wrote. Another client bailed, and I'm short on rent. I hate to ask again, but can you help? Just 2,000 this time. I stared at the message, my chest tight. I didn't have 2,000 just lying around. I'd have to dip into my emergency fund, the one I kept for rent and bills. But he sounded so scared, and I couldn't bear the thought of him losing his apartment. I sent the money, telling myself it was temporary. He'd pay me back. He loved me. The pattern continued. Every few weeks, Ethan had a new crisis: a broken laptop, a medical bill, a car repair. Each time, I sent money, scraping together what I could. I canceled my Netflix subscription, stopped buying coffee, took on extra clients to cover the gaps. I told myself it was what you do for someone you love. But each transfer left me emptier, not just financially but emotionally. I started to wonder why he never offered to pay me back, why his emergencies never stopped. 6 months after I sent the first payment, I'd given him nearly $12,000. My savings were gone. My emergency fund was drained. I was late on rent, and my landlord left stern voicemails. I felt like I was drowning, but I couldn't stop. I loved him. Or at least, I loved who I thought he was. Then came the day everything fell apart. I was on the forum where we'd met, scrolling through old posts, when I saw a thread titled, "Beware, Skyvibe 92. My heart stopped. I clicked it, my hands trembling. The post was from another user, a woman named Lila. She described meeting a guy named Ethan online, a graphic designer from Chicago who was charming and talented. They'd fallen in love, and he'd started asking for money, first for a client issue, then for rent, then for other emergencies. She'd sent him thousands before he stopped responding. Other users chimed in, sharing similar stories. All women. All scammed by Skyvibe 92. I felt sick. I reread the thread, hoping I'd misunderstood. But the details were too familiar: his voice, his stories, even the way he'd call them his muse. I checked his Discord profile. He'd been offline for days. His forum account was deleted. I called his number, but it went to voicemail. I sent messages, emails, nothing. He was gone. I sat on my couch, staring at the framed letter on my wall. The sketch of us on the beach felt like a cruel joke. I'd given him everything: my heart, my trust, my savings, and he'd taken it all. I cried until my throat was raw, until I had no tears left. The ocean outside my window looked darker that night, like it was mourning with me. The next day, I reported him to the forum moderators and filed a police report, but they said there was little they could do. Online scams were hard to trace, especially with someone who'd covered their tracks so well. I searched for Ethan online, using every scrap of information he'd given me. I found a few of his old sketches on an art site, but the account was abandoned. His Chicago stories, his job, his dreams, were any of them real? I'd never know. I told my best friend, Clara, everything. She came over with a bottle of wine and a box of tissues. "Mia, I'm so sorry," she said, hugging me. "He's a monster. But you're going to get through this." "How?" I asked, my voice breaking. "I have nothing left. No money, no trust, no anything." "You have you," she said. "You're strong, even if you don't feel it right now. And you have me." Clara helped me pick up the pieces. She lent me money for rent, sat with me while I cried, and pushed me to keep working. I took on more clients, working late into the night to rebuild my savings. I deleted Ethan's messages, his sketches, his letter. but I couldn't delete the ache in my chest, the shame of being fooled so completely. I stopped using the forum and avoided social media. Every notification made my heart race, half hoping it was Ethan with an explanation, half dreading it was him asking for more. I started therapy, something I'd never thought I'd need. My therapist, a kind woman named Dr. Lee, helped me see that Ethan had preyed on my trust, my loneliness. "You're not stupid, Mia," she said. "You're human. You loved, and that's not a weakness." Slowly, I started to heal. I joined a local art group, meeting people face to face instead of online. They were kind, quirky, and real. I started painting again, not for clients but for myself, bright, messy canvases of the ocean, the sky, the world I was rediscovering. I saved enough to buy a used laptop, a small victory that felt huge. One day, I got an email from Lila, the woman from the forum. She tracked me down through a mutual contact. "I saw your posts before you left," she wrote. "I'm so sorry you went through this too." A few of us started a group to share our stories and warn others. "Would you want to join?" I hesitated. The idea of talking about Ethan, of reliving the pain, was terrifying. But I thought of the other women, the ones who might still be falling for his lies. I joined the group. We shared our experiences, piecing together what we knew about him. His real name wasn't Ethan, we learned. He used different aliases, different stories, but the pattern was the same. We reported him to every platform we could, hoping to stop him from hurting anyone else. The group became a lifeline. We weren't just victims, we were survivors, helping each other heal. Lila became a friend, someone who understood the betrayal in a way no one else could. We'd video call, not for romance, but for support, laughing over coffee and bad rom-coms. A year after Ethan disappeared, I was walking along the beach, the wind tangling my hair. I thought about the girl I'd been, lonely, trusting, so eager to be loved that I'd ignored the red flags. I wasn't that girl anymore. I was stronger, wiser, but still me, still the girl who loved the ocean, who found beauty in small things. I'd lost everything, my savings, my trust, my heart. But I'd gained something too. I'd learned to stand on my own, to value my own worth. I didn't need a city boy or a fairy tale romance to feel whole. I had my art, my friends, my life. And as the waves crashed against the shore, I felt something I hadn't in a long time: hope. I went home and opened my laptop. Not to check messages or chase a ghost, but to start a new project, a series of illustrations about resilience, about rebuilding after loss. I titled it Tides because, like the ocean, I was learning to rise again, no matter how many times I fell. My life isn't perfect. I still flinch at unexpected messages, still wonder if I'll ever trust someone new. But I'm not afraid anymore. I fell in love online and lost everything. And then, slowly, I found myself.